Right. Okay. Just remove my watch there. Okay, so I've washed my hands. My hands are clean. Washed them in hot soapy water, and I'm just going to show you how, or two different cuts that we use in food um, to make sure you're safe with your knife. These cuts are going to stand you in good stead throughout the majority of your cooking. So um, the first cut that we're going to look at is called the claw. Okay, and we're going to start with this onion here, the claw grip. Okay, trying to show you on the. So essentially, what we do on the claw, show you a bit lower down, is to try and cut without our fingertips in the way. So I'm holding the onion here with my fingers, and my knife is brushing the front of my hand, but my fingertips are out of the way. So this is called the claw grip. So the first cut I'm going to make is to cut the end off my onion. Okay, so taking the stalk end off, I'm leaving the root end on at the minute, and I'm going to just get rid of that little bit of fruit there. The next cut, so this is the second cut that I'm going to show you. It's called the bridge. So what we do, we make a bridge over the top. So I don't know how well I can show you that on the visualizer, but I'm bridging. The knife is in my hand. I'm trying to get that round. So I'm holding the onion here. The knife goes underneath. So I'm bridging over the top and pushing down to cut through the center of the root. So this is also a good video for watching how to cut an onion, because it's one of my pet peeves of seeing people cut onions incorrectly. So you'll notice that I haven't peeled the onion yet. So I'm going to peel the onion now, and actually once I've cut the onion in half is much easier to peel. So I'm taking off all the dry outside layers, and we'll notice that they almost come off in one go. So I'm leaving the root on, taking off the outside layers. Okay, so that's the second one. So I've taken off that dry outside layer. I've got the root still in place. I'm going to leave that in place right until the end. So if I were to slice this onion, so if my recipe wants me to slice it, then I'm going to use my claw grip and nice and carefully. So what we're wanting to do is push down a rocking motion. Now you do need a sharp knife, but we're going to cut all the way down. So I'm traveling along the onion towards the root, as you can see. So I've got down towards the root, and I make one more cut. Now, what you'll notice here, okay, I've got near to the end of my onion, and it's actually very difficult for me to hold this in a claw grip. So what I'm going to do is place it down on its flattest side there, and then cut again the other way, and then one more cut. And actually, I'm going to use that bit as well. And I've just got the root here, which I don't want in my tea. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. If my recipe asks me to dice that, so actually before we go on to that dicing, I'll just show you the slices. You'll see the layers of the onion separate, and we get nice long thin bits of onion. Next thing I'm going to do is to dice the onion. So first of all, I'm going to cut down towards the root. So again, using the claw grip, cutting down towards the root, making cuts down through my onion. So what I've done here is I've separated the onion, but you will see there that the onion is still held together by the root. So I haven't cut all the way down through. It's probably the best angle to see. Okay, I've cut nearly all the way through to the root. The next cut I'm going to make, now we need to be a bit careful on this cut. So I'm going to cut back up towards, so the knife is flat, really careful. I'm holding my fingers on the top out of the way, and that's one cut that way. So that's just going to help. So I've cut in, that's just going to help to make a nice smaller dice. Next cut, I'm going to carefully, I'm holding with my finger, claw grip again, and I'm cutting the opposite direction. to my first few cuts. And as you can see here, move that to the other side of the board. I've got a nice dice there. And again, onto the flat side, I've got a small bit of onion left, onto the flat edge, and then cut the other way, flip it back up, and then just make sure I don't want to waste any of my onion. Make a couple of last cuts. Okay, so that is our onion diced. So as you can see, I'll hold some up for the camera. You see that's separated as I cook that down. It's going to separate. It's going to be nice and small compared to my slices. So that's how we cut an onion. Okay, so just a few other tips. If you're carrying your knife, so now I've finished with my knife, I'm going to take it to the sink. Need to make sure that the knife is point down next to my side. We can't see that very well on the visualizer. Actually, I can do it. So I carry the knife point down next to my side here, so that when I go to the sink, I'm not going to put that knife anywhere else. I don't want it. Straighten up the visualizer. Second point, when I'm not using the knife, make sure you put it away from the edge. So this is the edge of the worktop here. I've got the knife away from the edge, so it's not going to fall off. And if it does fall off, and it does happen occasionally, hopefully, we just need to make sure that we don't try and shield the fall with our foot or anything like that. So we want to make sure our foot is out of the way. And the last point that I'm going to tell you, when you are going to wash up your knife, don't put the knife into the bottom of your washing up bowl. Okay, so what has happened in school previously, someone has put a knife in the bottom of the washing up bowl. It's filled with hot soapy water and bubbles, and someone else comes in, goes to pick up something in the bottom of the sink, picks up the knife, cuts their hand. Okay, so that's what we want to avoid. Right, so that is how to use the bridge and claw method of cutting. So claw and bridge over the top. Okay, hopefully you've been able to see that on the visualizer. Over to you to use those skills in your practical.